I'm back. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Losing in Love Season 1 finale. Yay! Are we happy that it's a season finale? Are we? Are we happiness? Loko vera zwabudi. Hello, Madam Speaker. Much love from Uganda. I absolutely love you, my Ugandan sis. When are you inviting me to Uganda? I want to come visit. Share the secret. What you drinking in there? It's coffee. It's coffee. It's just normal coffee, but it's not decaf that I'm drinking. It's like proper stuff. Milk, sugar. That's it. I'm just drinking coffee. I want to stay up while we talk, while we do this losing in love thing. So with this losing in love special, I want to speak about positive stuff which were yielded, or the blessings in my life which were yielded by a whole lot of negative stuff that happened. You know, it's been one hell of a year. It's been one hell of a year for me, and I know that it's been one hell of a year for a lot of people. And I kind of feel like the most painful thing in life will have to be going through stuff and having to keep up and act and a front and not have to share and not have to openly disclose what you're going through, because now you don't only have one burden to bear, but you have two. The first one is that you have to bear the pain of whatever it is that you're going through. The second one is that you have to keep up and act or a front, and that on its own, it's a lot of work and it needs a lot of energy. So that's painful, you know. I thank God because I've never had to be one person who is ashamed of my struggles. From where I'm coming from since the beginning of the year to where I am now, I have just seen God doing some amazing stuff. I promised that I'm still gonna share a story. I'm gonna do it. It's part of the stuff that I'm gonna talk about next year, in the new year, where I'll be speaking about how I bounced back financially. Okay, because what happened to me, fake it till you make it is a big problem, because that faking is actually painful for you. Like, you literally need energy to balance the stuff which is going on in your life, which is painful, and you have to balance the pain itself of whatever it is that you're going through. Thank God I've been alive during your lifetime. Thank you so much, Donald. So what I wanted to say is that with this losing in love, as it is becoming a finale, all I can say is Ebenezer. You know, all I can say is Ebenezer, because I feel like it's been one hell of a year, but wow, it's been one heaven of a year. You know, taking it all the way back to where I've been, the fire that I've been through, and missed. And like it feels like my life feels like a movie. You know, because if I can just take you guys all the way back to the beginning of this year. I was celebrating just finding my own feet and celebrating my freedom of now not having to deal with other people's sons, because I eventually now had my divorce decree. And then after that, I was stranded because the municipality cut off my electricity because the bill was too high. And remember, I could not pay for the bill because the house was supposed to be sold. And if I continued paying for the bill, because it was owing around, I think, 60,000. Guys, mina ingxaki zam bezininzi ingxaki zam, you know. So from that to having to, you know, run back and forth to negotiate with the municipality not to cut off the electricity because we're busy with the divorce proceedings, the house is about to be sold, so I can't pay for all of that on my own, with this guy not staying with me anymore, to us eventually having to put the house on the market. I think that video went viral. I was so heartbroken, you know, when I posted the video where I was saying that me being able to take pictures to put my house back on the market, back on Property 24, where I found it after spending so much money on it, and me just raising my kids in that house, a home that I never thought I would lose. That was like one part of my life that was just, it was painful. From that to me actually eventually finding a buyer for the house. Me finding a buyer for the house was a bittersweet moment. It was sweet because eventually I will have to, like, that relief, that sense of relief to say at long last, this, I don't have to be bound to this thing, because now the thing is that for as long as I don't find a buyer for the house, I'm still responsible for the house until I find a buyer, meaning that I still have to continue paying for the house until I find a buyer. It's my responsibility to make sure that the bond repayments are up to date, right? So me having to pay for the house that I know that I'm just paying money into somebody else's pocket, because eventually when we sell it, we have to split it in half. That was painful. And I felt like it was holding me back because I couldn't do a lot of things because I'm still paying this bond of more than 11,000, 12,000, So after that, having to find a buyer so quickly, it was a bittersweet thing because it was bitter because wow, eventually, like, I'm really, really losing my house. But at the same time, it was a sweet thing to say, oh my gosh, I don't have to struggle for a long time. I don't have to suffer for like a year, because if a house had to wait for like the whole year before I find a buyer for it, then that means I'm still going to have to fork out money for an entire year before I can, be liberated and free from that, So that's why I'm saying it was a bittersweet moment for me to find a buyer for my house. From that to me finding out that I can't qualify to get a place for rental. You guys, my life is a Netflix series. When I now find a buyer, the house is being in the process of it being sold and everything, then I'm trying to look for rental, I can't find a place to rent because my credit is bad, my credit is bad. And now when you need to rent a place out, they need to check your credit score. They need to check how bad or how good of a payer you are. And remember, I still had all these things that I couldn't pay, which are debts which are coming from my divorce. I had not started settling my debts because I was still struggling financially, you understand? So meaning that because I'm still struggling financially and I have all these things hanging, that means that my credit is never going to be good. So meaning that now there's a potential that I could be homeless with my kids. That on its own was another movie that almost killed me. Né? So a month, I begged, guys. I begged these people, the property people, to give me a chance. I even told them that, listen, look at my bank statement, look at my salary, look at how much I've been paying for bond. Like, I've been paying more than 12,000 bond. I can definitely afford a rental apartment for 5,000, for 6,000. Just give me a chance. Just give me a break. Even though you can see that my credit is bad. My credit is bad is because I'm coming out of a divorce and it's been painful. I'm trying to get my life together. I was so scared that I'm going to be homeless with my kids. And from that to ESCOM again coming through for me, and finding a place to stay within the business, the ESCOM housing department came through for me and they gave me a place to rent. And the place, I'm paying almost nothing because it's being subsidized, man. The place, I hardly ever take pictures in that place because it's nothing like where I used to stay. So it frustrates me. I'm one person who's really addicted to beautiful backgrounds, and also at the same time I'm not ashamed of my own background or my own life, So just the fact that I'm moving from a beautiful house with beautiful space, with beautiful everything, to this cramped up space. But I was just thankful that I have a roof over my head and my kids have a place that they can call home, like we are safe. So the place, even today, it still is one place that I find it difficult for me to take pictures there. And then now I had to put away a whole lot of my stuff because the dining and the sitting room is this tiny. My stuff can't fit in there. My dining table, 8-seater chairs can't fit in there, guys. My stuff can't fit in that house. Like literally half of my stuff I had to either give it away, pack it away. If you saw a video of me leaving my house, you will see I filled up 2 trucks with stuff that I was buying. Like I had everything, you know, because remember when I was buying this stuff, I never saw myself being able to sell my house and starting afresh. I thought I'm buying and I'm investing and I'm buying for future use, you know. So having to move in that small apartment where now I must use 2 couches, the other one like literally like this, but none of that bothered me because I was more grateful that I have a roof over my shoulder, because I almost became homeless. When I think about the fact that if Eskom didn't come through with a house for me, then that means that I was going to be staying, I don't know, squatting with whom? With my kids, because I was not going to be able to afford a rental, a private rental, because my credit was bad, you know. From that, Eskom coming through for me packing away some of my stuff, selling some of my stuff, giving away some of my stuff, to me having to eventually move out of the house, me just pulling that gate, you know, of my hard-earned money, watching myself, like only now when I watch myself walk away from my house, it breaks my heart, because I feel like I'm watching it from a third person's point of view. But when I was in there, my heart was pure, because I felt like, you know what, I did the Colossians thing, the Colossians 3 thing, that I served my marriage with all of my heart, and my intentions were pure and my intentions were good, you know. So after that, I moved into the Eskom house, and then I was like, okay, now I now say to the guy that I was married to, I'm like, listen, dude, we don't have to split debt anymore. Let me pay my own debt. You also pay your own debt. Because I felt like, you know what, if I have to split debt with this guy, that means I still have to deal with him, and I don't have energy for that. All I want is just peace. I just want to start afresh. I just want a new life. I just want to be happy with my kids. That's all I want. None of these things matter anymore. And I'm more than willing to take up 3 years to clean up my stuff, clean up my mess, and just start a new life. And by that time, remember, I was driving my father's car. My father borrowed me his I'm not ashamed of sharing my painful stories, my shameful stories, because even when you am now, or where God is taking me now, it's not because there's magic, it's not because there's a snake, it's because I paid the price. You know, I went through it all, and I immersed my through it, you know. So then I said to this guy, I strike a deal with this guy that I was married to. I say to him, bro, listen, pay your debt, I'll pay mine. Mine is more than yours. I'll see what I can do, you know, and you do your stuff on the other side. It's like, okay, cool, no problem. Then I start the process. I'm like, okay, I'm using my father's car. Guys, my dad's car, the Ford Focus that I was driving, it does not even have wipers. Like literally, I learned so many tricks. Guys, I've never struggled in my life. I've never struggled. Immediately after varsity, I went and I worked. My first car was an Audi A3. I never struggled. So from me never struggling, from me not knowing this thing how a car actually breaks down, I never, I mean, I know that a car must be within a warranty and a guarantee and whatever. I never knew that a car can process of divorce, the process of me losing everything, to say you can actually get stuck in the middle of an N1 and you won't know what to do with your life. And the car that I was driving, the wipers were not working. And I learned tricks like applying a potato. Guys, this is a true story. I'm not lying. I learned the tricks of applying a potato, you know, or on the windscreen of a car, so that when the rain falls on the windscreen, it slides off. I drove that car for 1.5 years, and it didn't have wipers, because they said that it needed machines, and one machine was like 5,000. I didn't have that in my budget. I was still trying to swim. I was still trying to really stay afloat with the little that I had, you know. So I tried here and there to fix some of the things on my father's car, but at the same time, I was just pushing through this life. I was just saying, listen, it doesn't help me crying about my situation. This is my situation. I just have to make the best out of what is in front of me. And to begin with, other people don't even have a car. You know, people don't have a car to drive around. Some people lose everything and they don't even have a car. I at least have my dad, who borrowed me his car. He opened up his heart, and even if when it rains, sometimes I had to park on the side of the road because it was raining too hard. Even if I applied a potato, it was not working. Sometimes the car, when you drive it for long, it heats up. The petrol pump has issues. Yo, it was hectic. It was hectic. So from all of that to me now opening up my heart to say, I want to start afresh. I'm ready. And it actually works. You know, Rondani knows. She's here. My friend Rondani is here. She knows the struggles that we've been through together. So after all of that, I then set myself down. I'm like, okay, listen, I'm ready to do this thing one more time. I've been helping people clear their debts. Now it's time for me to just give it the last kick of a dying horse to say, let me clear my debts, you know. And I now started doing the whole TransUnion process thing to say, okay, what debts do I have? How do I then now start paying off these things, you know? My sources of income now were starting to multiply because of me being a speaker, me being a content creator, me being this and that. So I then set myself down with a list of debts from my side to say, this is the things that I want to pay. And then I gave myself, like, imagine guys, I gave myself a 3-year plan to say, within 3 years, all these things are happening this year, okay? Within 3 years, I'll be done paying everything. I'll be done with everything. I'll start my life afresh. You will not believe that within a month, I was done paying all of my debt. Within a month, everything was paid up. And not only was everything paid up, but my credit score was now on excellent. Some of the things didn't make sense even to me. You know, I would even ask Ronani, the same lady who's laughing at me about the potato. I would say, because you work for the bank, you know these things. How did it happen that I had so much debt? Some of these things, I can't see them on the system anymore. I still have stuff to pay, and I paid the stuff that I was supposed to pay within like a month, and I just took all of my money. Every little cent that I had, put anywhere, everywhere, and I paid everything. And my credit score just went on excellent. And when I went for the women's conference, I then applied for the car that I'm driving now, and I got the car. You know, now I drive a BMW 1 Series. The first encounter that I had of rain, when I was driving this car, I jump. Every time when it rains, I would jump because I would think the potato store, oh my goodness, I have to find a potato, oh my goodness, I won't be able to drive in the rain. And also the window. The other day, Ronani was even swearing at me when I was driving her car, and when we're supposed to pay something, I can't remember, through the window, McDonald's. And I was opening the driver's door because, remember, my father's car that I was driving, the driver's door, the window was not working. Guys, I was so used to making things work, even when situations were bad. Like, I remember being stuck in the middle of Maboneng, and I was just crying. You know, at that time I was busy shopping for a car. I was stuck in the middle of Maboneng. I was with my cousin Deborah, and I was crying. You know, I was overwhelmed because that weekend was the weekend of the women's conference. Then Rondani came. And when she got there, I hugged her and I was crying. So I called my dad. I'm like, Dad, your car is stuck. I'm trying to buy a car. You know, I said to him, I'm trying to buy myself a car. But now your car is stuck. And now because your car is stuck, I don't know what to do anymore. I don't know if I should focus on buying my car or if I should put that aside and focus on fixing your car, you know. Then my dad said to me, forget about my car. Where are you? I told him I'm with Rondani. Then he said to me, leave the car with Rondani, you know. As long as you know that it's safe. Rondani is not only my friend, she's also my cousin. It's like, as long as I know that the car is safe, keep it with her. Focus on finding your own car. And then after you get a car, you will then go fix my car. She's like, as long as it stays with Rondani, it's safe. And I know that it's still gonna give you a lot of trouble, a lot of problems. So rather focus on getting yourself a car which is functional, which you won't have to worry about. And once you get that, then you will go get my car. So when Rondani came, she found me crying. She's like, why are you crying? I'm like, yo, dude, my dad never ceases to amaze me. That man is amazing. That man is amazing. Like, he's out of this world. So Rondani now pulled her tricks, and she got people to come and tow us. And then after they towed us, we found that the car just needs to cool down a bit because it's got a petrol pump problem. And we've not been able to find, like, guys, I literally knew stuff about cars now because I've been driving that car and it's got a lot of problems, you know. So like I said in the beginning, that I never struggled with the car. I've never had car struggles. It was my first time, so it was just a lot for me. And now it's during the women's conference weekend. Then we park that car. I take Rondani's car. We drive around. Like, Rondani is amazing, guys. Rondani is amazing. Rondani is amazing. She's just as amazing as my dad. So we then started driving around from where she stays to Pretoria to finalize things of the car, to finalize things of the women's conference. So during that time of the women's conference, I had a car broken down, but it didn't stop me. You know, I had to keep going. So I then focused on the women's conference with my car parked, and knowing that Rondani has my bag, knowing that Amu also is coming, she has my bag. Like, the things that I'm going through are painful, but the one thing that is comforting for me is that God has given me people that never allow me to hit the ground, that always reassure me that they will always be there. And these are people who are being there for me in things which are painful, you know. It's painful situations. You can easily just run away, you know. You don't have to be here. I would always ask her, Rondani is this one here. She calls herself what? Kingship. I don't even know what kingship is, but she calls herself kingship, this girl. And I would say to them, you guys, you don't have to be here, you know, but you're here. You can easily just run away, you know, but you're here. And you don't know what tomorrow holds for me. You don't know how, we don't know if things are going to turn out well, but you are still with me regardless. You've been friends with me since grade 1, and you are sticking with me the whole time. So we did the whole women's conference thing. I was happy. I was at peace because my dad also was just being just this amazing dad that he's always been. We did the women's conference. It was a success. We finished everything. We took the car and we drove back home. And when we got there, we find that the car is fine. And I, on the other hand, I am squeaky clean. My credit is on 100. I apply for a car. The same BMW Centurion that sponsored me for the women's conference. I then went and I bought that car from them. And from there, I'm here. There's a lot of relief. There's a lot of relief because, remember, another relief that I have is the bond, because I was paying bond, a lot of money for the bond, and now I'm paying almost nothing. So I have that, and I have multiplied my sources of income, and I'm just striking other deals. As if this is not enough, that is happening. As if this is not enough, that is not happening. So I felt like I had reached the peak now of my, like, I have reached my enough is enough. But I was still not complaining, you know, to God. I was not saying, why me? So after all of that, after the car, after YouTube, then things start happening. You know, things start happening. I'm in this YouTube program. I'm in the TikTok program. I'm just busy, you know. I'm just back and forth doing my things. And then I become part of YouTube Black Voices class of 2023. That is also one amazing thing that God has done for me in my life this year. Because when I got to Cape Town to be together with the class of 2021 and the class of 2022, which was graduating, I found out that, you know, my channel is new on YouTube. I only have 21,000 subscribers on YouTube. And the people who were there, my class, there are people who've been on YouTube for years. There are people who have a whole lot of subscribers on YouTube. They know the tool. That's why in the beginning of the video I was saying that YouTube is going to be taking me to some courses so that I can learn how to do stuff, because I don't know how to use the YouTube app, like the tools on YouTube. I struggle, you know. So how I made it to YouTube Black Voices class of 2023, grace. And now the thing is that YouTube Black comes with money, like proper money, like money that is more than money that I've ever lost. Yeah, money that is more than the money that I've lost, you know. So I thank God that I never gave up on myself. I thank God for the people that surrounded me that never gave up on me. The other day, Rondani was saying to me, there are some people who say, "Who Rondani? She, you know, like she's sucking up to me, like she's forcing friendships." I'm like, fuck you, you know, you have no idea what you're talking about. Because this girl has been there for me even when she didn't know where I was going. You know, she didn't even know where I was going. She didn't even know how life was going to turn out. But she was there for me. She's like, Mwanamkara. We call each other Mwanamkara. I'm not going anywhere. I'm here. Sometimes it gets so difficult for me to ask because I'm not used to asking. I'm not used to burdening people. But that girl, it's like she communicates with my heart. So she would communicate with my heart. She would tell me, you can do this, you know, come get this from me if you need this. When my dad's car was giving me a problem, before I knew that all my financial problems will be solved and I will have money, Rondani, I remember her saying, the last option that we'll have to do will have to be me taking a loan for you. You know, if all else fails, then I will have to take a loan for you. I'll help you. We'll help each other out. We'll see what we can do so that at least you can have a car. Hey, this girl, you see you, king, whatever the heck you call yourself. I don't know what I did to deserve you. I don't know what I did to deserve Amu. I don't know what I did to deserve the dad that I have, the stepmom that I have, the grandmother that I have. I am just so grateful. So that's why I'm saying that this losing in love of today is not, it's me reflecting on how far I've come this year. It's me saying that Ebenezer, you know, one more time, because if you saw a video of me walking out of my house, it won't make sense to you to say you just walked out of your house empty, without anything, to what you are now, what you're having now, all these blessings that you're receiving now. How? You know, God has been amazing. God has been amazing. I have never lacked. I have never lacked, and my cup just keeps overflowing. It just keeps overflowing. So I don't know why I felt it in my heart to just say the way that I'm saying it now. But I feel like if there's somebody who is here who is going through stuff and you feel like, why me? And can it ever get better? And I know that there's somebody who's going through something which is far worse than what I've been through. But all I can say to you is that it does get better. It does get better. You know, it's bad. It gets bad. it gets really bad. But the trick is always to accept your situation. I said in the beginning of the video that a lot of us are carrying burdens which are not necessary for us to carry. Because the first burden that you're carrying is the stuff that you're going through. The second burden is you having to pretend, is you having to act as if things are okay, is you having to hide what you're going through from people. Trust me, even if you try to hide, people already know what you're going through. And a lot of us, what contributes to destroying us is not the actual pain of what we're going through, but the shame that we allow ourselves to carry from the things that we're going through. Drop the shame. Let go of the shame. Because when you drop that, at least you have dropped 80% of your problems. 80% of your problems are not real problems, but shame. What people have to say about it. The laughing, having to go through the laughing, the mockery. You walking down the streets and feeling like people are laughing at you behind you. Fight that. Like, take yourself through the process of just overcoming that. And if you can do that, there's absolutely nothing you can't overcome. Nothing. Yes, it's painful. Yes, it's bad. But what contributes to it being even far worse than it actually is you allowing yourself to carry the shame. Is you allowing yourself to be butt naked. So if you cancel out the shame, you at least have one thing to deal with, and it's just the actual problem at hand. It's not what other people have to say about it. Literally, when you are going through stuff, you do it as if nobody's watching. Like, don't mind who is watching. When it's time for you to go through your deepest and darkest, just the deepest and darkest valley, go through it and embrace it. And when you are down, be bendable. Be able to say, yes, I accept that this is my situation at hand. Because a lot of us are where we are and we are failing to bounce back because we want to pretend as if we're okay even when we're not. We want to pretend as if we have it all together even when we're not. We don't want to please our enemies. Listen to me, people are going to laugh at you even when things are going well. There will be people who will mock you even when they have far less than what you have. People will just be people. And act like you don't see them when you're going through your own stuff. Do your thing. Do your thing. If it's a battle that you have to face, if it's a fight that you have to face, if it is an embarrassing situation that you have to face, you face it head on. And you tell yourself that these people who are laughing at me, they also have stuff of their own. They also have things that they're going through. And for that fact, I'm not going to be ashamed. I'm going to accept the reality of my life. And the one thing that I would like to demonstrate in everything that is happening in my life, in everything that happened from the beginning of the year up until now, is that you have to dance to your music. You have to dance to your music. There is no other way. Nobody's coming to dance to your music on your behalf. Nobody's coming with a big blanket to cover up so that your stuff can actually not be seen. You know, shameful situations are very quick to pop out. They are very visible. You know, they are. So the amount of time and energy that you are spending trying to hide the painful situations in your life, trying to hide the fact that you are down and out, that time, you could be spending it trying to figure out your next move. You could be spending it sitting down trying to draw up a plan to say, okay, this is what I'm going to do for myself from here going forward. But we don't do that. You know, half of the time that you're supposed to be spending figuring out how do you get yourself out of this mess, you're spending it trying to hide so that people don't see the reality of your life. And trust me, they already know. They already know because you told somebody who told somebody. If you didn't tell somebody, your partner told somebody. If he didn't tell somebody, your mother told somebody. It's pointless. It's pointless. Do you know how many people are there in the world that you literally have to hide things from? Like you're facing a mountain head on, but you still have to look behind you because you're trying to cover your butt so that your butt doesn't show because people are going to be laughing at you. You understand what I mean? Whereas you could be running forward. The fact that people are seeing your butt behind you, it shows that they're behind you. It means that you are ahead. The minute you turn around and you want to cover up, they're coming and they're overtaking you and you are falling down, you're never getting up. It gets even twice as hard for you to get to where you're trying to go. Forget about your shame. Forget about your nakedness, which is out there and people are seeing your butt. Keep running. Keep going. By the time you get to where you're going, I'm telling you, you will be honored. By the time you get to where you're going, you will be clothed with a new garment. When I did the women's conference, a sister of mine, Tabang, said to me, do you remember the woman with the issue of blood? The woman with the issue of blood was being called the woman with the issue of blood for the past 12 years. That's the same as when you are going through stuff and your business is, your dirty laundry is outside and your butt is naked. They are calling you the woman who is walking around butt naked. But then when you are now done touching just a clothing item that Jesus Christ is wearing, by the time you have to have that encounter, by the time when your life turns around, when I was done with the women's conference, I was no longer the woman who lost everything. I was no longer the woman who is crying for her stuff. I was no longer the woman who was financially abused. I'm a woman who held first annual women's conference with plus minus 500 women. I was a woman who gathered women in one room. I was a woman who made things happen. I was a woman who gave other women hope. And that's what you should be. Because if you spend so much time trying to cover up for the name that you are, the shameful name that you have, if you are trying so hard to cover up so that people don't see the name that you are, because if you can imagine a woman with the issue of blood, how many people have actually seen that blood? It's not a lot of people who see that you are actually going through your menstrual cycle. But how then was she known as the woman of issue of blood? Because painful situations, because shameful situations are not easy to cover up. So it is pointless for you to try and cover up, spend the rest. If the woman with the issue of blood spent her entire life trying to cover up so that people don't know that she's the woman with the issue of blood, she was never going to have an encounter with Jesus Christ. Because she was going to spend her days trying to cover up so that people don't see that actually she's the woman with the issue of blood. But she didn't mind people mocking her. She didn't mind people knowing that she's the woman with the issue of blood. Her focus was her touching Jesus. Even with that shameful situation that everybody in the village, everybody in the city knew that this woman is the woman with the issue of blood, even though they did not see her blood. They had never seen her blood, but they knew her as the woman with the issue of blood. Until she touched Jesus, and then she turned from being the woman with the issue of blood to being the woman who touched Jesus and got healed. Your painful situation is not yours to hide. What is yours is to strive to get your solution. What is yours is to strive for survival, because you cannot have control over painful and shameful situations in your life. You cannot try to combat that so that people don't see that actually you have a shameful situation going around. Because if you are the woman of issue of blood, only you know that when you go to the bathroom and you check yourself, you see that blood is still coming. Blood is still coming. You tell somebody, or somebody sees you in the bathroom, blood is still coming. When they see you, it's now the word in the town goes around saying, there's a woman who has an issue of blood. We've never really seen the blood, but we know her. She carries shame. She carries shame. We can't prove that she's a woman of the issue of blood because we've never seen the blood, but we know her. We know her by the way she walks. But did that stop her from going for Jesus? Did that stop her from saying, I just want? She's a woman with the issue of blood, walking amongst people who don't have an issue of blood. Walking amongst people who are pointing at her saying, that's the one. That's the one. But that didn't stop her. That didn't stop her. So what I'm saying to you right now is that situation that you are facing, that you feel so much like you have to hide it. You hide it so much that you forget that besides you hiding, there's still some work. The amount of energy that you are spending hiding your issue of blood should be the amount of work that you should be putting in trying to get to touch Jesus, so that you get that impartation, so that you get your healing, so that your name can be changed. Do you get what I'm saying? I don't even know how we got here. I have no idea how we got here. I have no idea how we got to the woman of the issue of blood and everything in between, but the things that God is doing in my life right now, I believe that He's not doing them for me to receive alone. I was saying to this other person that I want to testify at the church. But because a lot of teachings were done in the church against the type of behavior that I was portraying, against me speaking openly about my struggles and the process of divorce, I was embarrassing myself. But now I have a big testimony. I'm top 140 black content creators in the world to be picked by Google. It's a global initiative. I'm part of YouTube Black Class of 2023. Do you understand what that means? There is none above that. And I'm that. And had I not shared my story, had I not opened up my heart and say, listen, this is me, this is my nakedness, I would not be here. This is a testimony. But then now when I testify about things like that, then I'm saying, listen, you were wrong, bruh. Actually, there's nothing wrong with sharing your story. Actually, sharing your story can be your ticket out of your hellhole. Actually, focusing on how to get out can be your ticket out. Instead of you trying to combat your painful situation and trying to protect it and hide it from people laughing at you, because either way, people can tell, people have seen, people are laughing. You understand what I'm saying? God is an amazing God. And people think that when you move away from the church, or when you move away from them, or when you do something which is against their beliefs, then God has left your side. God will not negotiate with another person when it comes to issues that have anything to do with you. Because when God created you, He did not negotiate with anybody. Because when God allowed things to happen in your life, He did not negotiate with anybody. So anybody who feels like they are superior to a point where they can tell you that what you're doing right now, you are going against the will of God, when they don't know your personal relationship with your God, let me tell you something. Don't listen. Take advice as much as you can. But there's a voice that you're silencing. A voice which is supposed to be louder than any other voice, and that is your voice. It is very, very difficult for you to hear what God is communicating with you when you're listening to other people who are telling you things which are confusing you, which are going against that which you believe in. There are so many people who are against the type of gospel that I was preaching. There were so many people who were telling me, shut up, keep quiet, lay low. But because the voice that was in me was much louder than any other voice. And when you don't do what people want you to do, they distance themselves from you, because if you don't want to listen to me, then I'm not going to be sticking around for this nonsense. But it's not nonsense now when I'm YouTube Black Class of 2023. It's not nonsense now when I'm making brand deals. Thank you so much. It is not nonsense now when somebody says to me, I wanted to commit suicide, but I watched a video of yours from TikTok and I decided to preserve my life. I saw a video of you walking away from your house. I saw a video of you losing this and that. And I said, if that woman can get up and stand strong and still be okay, then I can do it too. It's not a waste of time. It's not ridiculing myself. It's not making a fool out of myself when lives are being touched, when families are being saved. But had I listened, somebody could have now taken a pill and killed themselves simply because somebody said to me, you should not speak about things like this because you are making a fool out of yourself. People are laughing at you, and they're going to laugh at you some more if you continue making a fool out of yourself. I'm glad I listened to myself. I'm glad that the noise or the burning desire of what I'm doing or what I want to do surpasses any other. I challenge you today to go out there and just do you. And just do you. Yeah, the ministry is bigger. With just me being part of YouTube Black, I realized that God actually wants this to go global. God wants this to go global. There's a lot of work that still needs to be done. And this is not an ordinary ministry. It's not just your normal, let's do grace. Let's say grace. It hits differently. I said in the beginning of this video that next week I'm having my camp. The camp is next week. I need to prepare myself spiritually for that, because I feel like, you know what? I am honestly just a Moses. I honestly do not know what I'm doing. When I was speaking today at Mother Power Station, the sister that I was with was saying to me, you don't write stuff down. You get up on the stage and you speak. Where do you get the words? I'm like, listen, I'm just a piece or a tool. I have so much confidence in God than I have in myself. Because I believe so much that it's not my work that I'm doing. So even when I say I'm doing something, I don't have any fear of failing or anything. And also another reason why I'm not a fearful person is because I feel like I have failed so much in life. I have hit rock bottom, like the lowest, so low that I have to look up to see the ground. I have been through things which are supposed to be so shameful that I feel like I'm walking around butt naked. But I never allowed any of that to get to me. There's nothing, there's absolutely nothing that can get me down now, that can get to me now. Even if I had to organize this women's conference or organize this camp and people didn't show up, I still would not feel ashamed. I still will not be ashamed of failing. Because a lot of us are sitting here right now and there are so many things that we could be doing. But our fear for failure, the frequency is way higher than any other. You have it in you. You want to start something. You want to do something. And you're afraid of failing. And the failure that you're afraid of is not the failure of you not doing it and just ending there, but you're afraid of people actually laughing at you when you fail. Like, if you holistically say that people do not exist in your life, they should not exist when you're going through a difficult time. They should not exist when you want to do something life-changing. They should not exist at all. In all aspects of your life, in everything that you want to do. Once you want to involve people, then it's done. You're not going anywhere. So when you make a decision and you say people are not existent when it comes to things that I want to do for myself, then that should be wholesome. It should not be only on specific areas of your life. Like literally, people don't exist. If I say I want to do something, whether I pass or I fail, people still don't exist. Whether they're laughing at me or not, they don't exist. Because I know that they're also going through stuff of their own. It's just that I'm one person who never really dwells too much in people's businesses and what they're going through and their struggles, because I know that I have struggles of my own. You understand what I'm saying? So yeah, I think our program for Losing in Love today, since it's the finale, and it was about me just sharing this part of my life, which has been quite a roller coaster. It's been hectic. Okay, I see there's somebody here who was trying to request to be a guest. Hi. Hello. Hello. Okay, we lost her there. I think her volume was very, very low. Her volume was very, very low. So yeah, I suppose it's not that today is not that day. We will start proper next year, guys. Losing in Love. Hello. Hello. Okay, we lost her there. I think her volume was very, very low. Her volume was very, very low. So yeah, I suppose it's not that today is not that day. We will start proper next year, guys. Losing in Love, where people call in. I believe a lot would have changed. I think we would have improved in a lot of areas. I think we'll be able to go live in more than just one platform. A lot of things are gonna change when we do our second season of Losing in Love. So yeah, I don't want to add any more than what I've already said. I don't want to subtract anything. I think the most important thing that I forgot in the very beginning of the video, because I still thought that we're going to do some sort of intro, was to say, if you're watching this on YouTube, please hit the subscribe, share, like, and do all the stuff that people on YouTube do. But besides that, if you missed any part of this live, if you were not there in the beginning of this live, because it started at 7, if you were not here, you do not have to worry. You will catch it on YouTube. I'm gonna upload it on YouTube, and it will be available for you to watch it. And I just want you to keep encouraged, keep being encouraged, man. You should never give up on yourself. I love you so much more. Thank you so much, guys. You should never give up on yourself. You give people so many chances. Before you throw in a towel on somebody, you give them multiple chances. But when it comes to yourself, you give up the first time. Don't do that to yourself. Be kinder to yourself. After all, there's nobody who's going to advocate for you more than you can advocate for yourself. Who must be your lawyer if it's not you? People are already hard on you. You're already hard on yourself. So basically, self is all alone. Don't do that to yourself. Everybody should come second to you. When it comes to you, everybody should come second. And there should be no exception. There should be no exception. I love you so much, guys. Thank you so much for the love that you showed me. I'm going to have to love you and leave you now. Whew, it's been great. The season finale, I really feel like we have just reached our peak, gracefully so, and we end it on a beautiful note. Like I said, I'm gonna have an exclusive for the camp, which is happening next week. And then after that, we will do season 2 next year. I love you guys. I appreciate you. God bless you and good night.